episode of Turn Left. I am your host, Indiana's own Dana Black, coming to you live. Yes, all the way live from Black Girl Studios, where we talk about Indiana politics from the left side of things. Indiana's own Dana Black, Turn Left. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Turn Left. Yes, we are bringing you more and more candidates. I'm really excited because you know what? This is a big tent. You cannot tell me that Democrats are not big tent people. We have everything from blue dogs to democratic socialists and everything in between. And I believe that there's a space for all of us in this big tent. So tonight I'm excited to be talking to a young Dem. I love it when the young people get involved. Oh my God, y'all give it up for Blaine Sefton, who's running in Senate District 14. Blaine, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Dan. I appreciate it.
I love it. So what's going on with you, bro?
Obviously a lot of work and a lot of excitement. Like you said, being a democratic socialist on the ticket, it comes with its series of questions that follow up. But I think at the end of the day, you know, when we all on the democratic ticket fight for working class values, we find that we have more in common, and it's just a matter of labels and how we get to that solution where we're actually tackling the biggest issues facing, you know, Hoosiers today.
I love it. So tell the people who you are and where you come from.
I was born in the neighboring Midwestern state of Ohio. I moved. Oh, rock and roll. See, I mean,
I was born in Cincy.
I was born in Toledo.
Okay.
Because Cincinnati, that's west side, right? Just southwest?
Yeah, southwest. It's real close to like the Indiana border.
I mean, it's two states with corn and wheat. I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. But moved here for family. Most of my life has been trying to just do as good of a job as I can. I worked as a case manager for the Division of Family Resources a while back, working on SNAP cases, Medicaid cases, and I found that the better I did my job, the worse people were off because I was following these very arbitrary rules. I used to work at the Social Security office, where I would help type up the meetings that judges had with people pleading their disability cases and realizing how broken that system was. And then you just got so burnt out from, the broken systems that I was like, oh, at least I'm trying to do something good. And I went back to my roots of, manufacturing and construction, and now I'm a union electrician. But the work's never done, and I still want to help as many people as I can. So I turn to the people making the laws that make it hard for my neighbors to exist and live. So that's, I guess, a short synopsis. I'm also just a huge nerd.
Well, I love. First of all, we need more nerds elected into office, because if we had people who were thinkers, and instead of someone like that Orange Menace guy, that guy's not a thinker. That dude ain't thinking about nothing but himself.
I was going to say, there's one thought on the mind, I suppose.
Yeah. How can I steal more money from the American people? One of the things that I'm picking up from you is that you worked in government. You were the person that had hands on with the most vulnerable among us. And you said something interesting. You said the better I was at my job, the worse it was for the people I was trying to service. Talk about what it was like having to tell somebody or share with somebody, maybe their SNAP benefits were being cut from $1 amount to a smaller dollar amount, or what did you see in those experiences?
Genuinely, it was heartbreaking. I was never upset with someone who was calling in. The way that they have it set up currently, they don't back in some people say back in the day. You would have a case manager. I remember when my mom was on food stamps, we would have one person at the field office, either your local office, helping multiple families in that neighborhood, right? And that way you could have a connection with them. But government agencies, they saw that as a problem, because if you have a connection with your fellow neighbor and human being, you want to help them more, and you'll break the rules to do so. Which I would argue having everyone fed, I don't care what rules are in place, I think that should be the main goal.
Absolutely.
But nowadays they have these large call centers, And when someone calls in, you are on a strict time budget of like, you have to make sure that you get answer to their question within like 15, 20, 30 minutes. And some of these cases are really complex. It's a lot of children. It's a lot of different statuses, whether you're an immigrant, whether you're like been a long, like lifelong Hoosier, or you moved here 2 weeks ago and you have benefits from somewhere else. So what was happening is that I pride myself in doing a good job. So I wanted to learn the rules and make sure I was following them to a T. But the more and more I followed the rules, the more and more people had to work to feed their children.
Mm-hmm.
And for rules as arbitrary as I would look at a bank statement, right? Because the state says you have to be poor enough for us to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would argue we should just help everybody
Exactly.
equally. That way, no one can take advantage of a system if it's meant for everybody.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But I would look at their bank statement, and this is like what kept on breaking me down. And like I would cry on the way home. I would tell my spouse, I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I'm hurting people, and I'm like, I would rather them just pay my salary as a worker to these people.
Wow.
But you would get a bank statement. You'd have to be under a certain amount to qualify for Medicaid or food stamps. Like if you had a second car, they required you to sell it before they would give you benefits, even if it was broken down and totally like. But if it's still in your name, you had to sell it. But the thing that got me in our modern age with so many like leech like banking companies like Cash App, Chirp, all these like quick loan like Klarna. If someone's handing me their like Wells Fargo bank statement, I go through and we scan the file and I see Cash App on there and it says like plus $2. The state would require them to get the person who gave them $2, if it was just like for gas, covering a soda at the gas station, they would have to write a statement saying why they gave that person $2.
Golly.
Because they see it as income, which is just absurd.
Yeah.
If I had to write down every time I gave someone $2 for a soda, I would be drowning in receipts. Like like caffeine is my one vice. So like if I had to record it every day, I'd have to look at myself in the mirror first off for how much caffeine I drink, but also it's just like this unnecessary step to make people suffer to get the benefits they deserve. They deserve to have help when they need it.
Yeah, that is crazy. That's a scary. I used to be a tier 2 tech at the call center that was in Indianapolis at the airport. So I was the tier 2 tech for the state IT department, but then I also took care of all the FSSA offices like 50 mile north, 50 mile south, Illinois to Ohio, all the counties in those spaces. And I would have to go and set up the offices, replace. So I've been in those spaces. But you're right. That call center was huge, having to maintain, because there was probably 300 people in that call center at one given time, any given time.
Yeah.
So you also said that you were you were in union trades. Come on, union brother. I'm a union too. I'm union too. I am too. So I love it. I love it. Talk about why it's important, why you made the shift to go into the trades.
Well, I had worked, I like working with my hands and being an analytical person. After that job, at the Division of Family Resources, I took like a look in my life and I was like, I'm not getting any younger and I need to make sure that I can actually like provide for,
Sure.
my wife and like
Because they
my
don't
friends.
give no raises at the state.
No, they don't. No, they don't. So when I was like looking at like all of the options I had, I knew I wanted to go into a union because I understood the history of labor in Indiana. I understood the benefits that come with being in a union. And luckily the union, IBEW, our local union here in Fort Wayne 305, they had a contract that helped new people get in under like a program so they could try to transition into the union. And I actually just got accepted in to their apprenticeship. So doing that in tandem with all of this has been really, really fun, but also very tiring.
Yes, I imagine.
But just knowing how much a union matters in the sense of not having to worry about pleasing the contractor, having to have the freedom to say, I'm going to work 8 hours a day, even if overtime is offered, I'm not going to be penalized for not working it. Consistent benefits, consistent wage, and just the not having to fear about this toxic culture that I've had at some of the other jobs where I would talk about wage, not in like a braggadocious way, but I would want to make sure people were getting paid the same.
Yeah, and see I'm gonna be honest with you, like that is a new one for me. So like in my union, they want us to have transparency about our salaries, but I grew up in my mindset is that's really ain't nobody else's business but mine. And so I'm struggling, like I'm not gonna buck my union. I understand what they're saying and why they're saying it because they want to make sure that everybody's getting paid fairly. I get it, but it's like it's an adjustment. Like it's a whole attitude adjustment for me, and it's generational. I recognize, like I'm a Gen Xer, and like because at the same, again, I get it, but like if I know how to negotiate my salary, I shouldn't be penalized because I know how to negotiate my salary.
Right.
And so I'm working my way toward it, where I'm like, okay, I'll be transparent with my union brothers and sisters about my salary. I ain't there yet.
It's hard. It's a hard transition, right? Because for so long we've been bought into this idea of like, oh, like your wage is like something that like, and it is like in a private sector, like you negotiating your salary is a huge part of it, right? Like they force you to think about what you deserve to be paid, and you have to convince them that you're worth it, right? And you're using fellow coworkers as like examples, like, hey, I do 5 to 10% better than this person, and it's nothing against them, but you're like, hey, I did really good work. You need to value me more. And then it's in their hands to decide if you meet that valuation, right? But what I like about union, like, negotiations is that we all collectively, like, yeah, we're going to have like a union brother or sister that, maybe I'm like, that dude's in the Porta John a little bit longer than I would wish him to be, right?
Right.
But when it comes to at the end of the day, we negotiate our salary together, which makes it a little bit more impactful. Because if we're all on the same page of like, hey, this kid's getting screwed over, that's not right, we can all collectively go to the boss and say, you need to pay him more. And actually, now that we're thinking about it, we're going to renegotiate our contract, which it's different between unions, right? That are like building trades versus more clerical work versus like retail. Everything's going to have their own like contract negotiations.
Right.
But it places minimums, right? Because like a contractor, if you're with them for a long time, they can technically pay you more. It's just making sure that there are rules where you can't get paid less.
I love that.
So
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, thank you for explaining, because like I said, I ain't there yet, but hearing other people talk about it kind of helps me get there. So, there's always one thing, a catalyst that says, you know what, I'm putting my name on the ballot. What was that thing for you, sir, that made you go, enough is enough, I'm running for office?
Honestly, it was Chloe Andis running that. They lost their primary, but they ran in District 15. In September of 2025, I had begun working with the fellow members of the Fort Wayne Democratic Socialists of America, getting that chapter restarted, right? Because it had been kind of dormant after COVID, a lot of other things, Joe Biden won, so some people lost the steam, and I was like, no, please keep going, but it happens, right? But doing all this political work and advocating for good candidates, by the time February came around, where it was the last week to put a name on the ballot, they came into the meeting because I'm currently co-chair there, and Chloe said, hey, there is literally no one running on your district state senate ticket. And do you think you can do it better, or at least more honestly, than the Republican sitting there? And I had no choice but to answer yes, because that is what I thought. That is what I believed. It was still incredibly scary. It was having basically my life go from like, me trying to do the best for like my nearest family and community members to now I'm trying to advocate for not only the 130,000 people in my district, but the 7 million Hoosiers that it will affect, like this legislation. So, crazy job proposition that came my way that day. But it was just very honest. I'm like, I need to protect my neighbors. I need to protect my community members. And the state is failing to do so. They put in these policies that actively hurt people. It's violence. It's slow, but it's still violence when people can't feed their kids. So I said, to hell with it. I'm going to learn as much as I can, and I'm going to still follow that good work ethic that I've been trying to do my whole life. I'm going to try to do the best job that I can.
Let me tell you something. I love that story because let me tell you, I hear all of the time from different people, like, they ask the question, am I qualified? And I like to remind them, there's an orange guy in the White House. Of course you're qualified, right?
Yeah, we live. Yeah, yeah.
And if we had more regular, everyday people running for office and winning, then a lot of the policies that are impacting us negatively, we can do something about. But a lot of people they just don't do it. They especially women, they real bad about putting their name on ballots. But they don't do it. And I want to thank you because, again, it wasn't about your ego. You was just out here doing the work behind the scenes, minding your business, and nobody had filed in that seat. And check this out. All 25 Senate seats have a Democrat running in them, and you're one of them. So thank you.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's been really beautiful meeting so many people who are in a similar situation where we're trying to crack open that lie, that propaganda that, oh, the people who make decisions, they've gone to law school for 8 years, they're doctors, they're lawyers. But like you think about back to the times where working class people made the policies for working class people. I know how to read, I know how to write, right. I know how to go follow parliamentary order with Robert's rules. It's not the most fun thing in the world, but I know how to follow it.
Right.
And it's like, well, technically, I met all the legal qualifications. I'm over 25, and I live in the district.
There you go, and you have a voting record. Like
Exactly.
Literally, that's all it is, and I love that. And since you're, that's the other thing. More young people, right? That whatever the minimum age requirement is, just once you get there, just put your hat in the ring. But obviously, you were already doing the work. Like you said, you were the vice chair. You were already in the community. How did that transition go from just being a supporter of the party and of the community to now let me represent? What was that transition like for you? I know it was tough.
It was a lot. The transition was just someone convinced me to go down to the State House, right? And there's a lot of lovely people down there who helped me out because obviously my activism came from more mutual aid and out on the streets, be more vocal, criticizing like my council persons of my district and the whole city council, saying like, hey, all this stuff with the data center, all this stuff with like homelessness, being out and kind of advocating against that, to then looking in the mirror and being like, I'm going to be the guy that gets yelled at. And I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I do have some better ideas or some policies that can be passed. But obviously it's all been time management. Honestly, that's the boring answer. My entire house is now just documents and documents that we are reviewing, learning from other states, getting into a more workhorse machine. But what's been so beautiful about it with this transition is that I've already laid the groundwork out for an amazing volunteer team.
Oh, I love that.
I could not do this alone. I am not doing this alone. And it's not about me. That's been mostly the campaign, is that this is a movement of working class solidarity, getting into the State House and protecting those who need it most. But like being out there, being that vocal, sometimes I talked to previous House members and Senate members, and I said, I feel a little lost, And they told me, well, it was just me and one guy door knocking for like the first couple of months. I'm like, okay, I have a small team of like 8 people, and they'll look at me and they're like, 8 people? What the hell?
That's amazing. That's amazing. My first campaign, it was hit and miss, and I very seldom had more than, I think maybe twice, when especially GOTV time. I think the largest I had was like 15 people for GOTV, but that was GOTV. That was in October.
Yeah, like the big deal. Yeah.
Like from January, on to, through the primary, like I barely had maybe 2 or 3 people at a time. So the fact that you have 8 people, that means they believe in your mission. They believe in your work. So when you're out talking to people, you said you're knocking doors. What are you hearing from the door? I mean, you're saying I'm a working class guy for the working class people. Is it resonating?
100%. And it was something that I was really scared of, because like we see at like these big stories on the national level, like people who are, criticizing the National Democratic Party, like, hey, you have failed working class people. Like for many years, like Bill Clinton said, the time of big government is over, and like that's the guy on our ticket. We see all this like rolling down, effect where the Democratic Party stopped fighting for the working class people, or at least it looked like that.
It felt
Not
like
to
that. Yeah.
not to besmirch any local or state levels, but
Sure.
like nationally, it felt like that. And people look at national and they deal with like the effects locally. But I met a guy actually on my block. It'd be the first time I knocked on his door. Wasn't the registered person on like the door knocking list, completely new to me. But he was a local carpenter with the local union. And I said, hey, I'm a local electrician. And there were some things that we disagreed upon. But at the end of the day, I said, what are the biggest issues right now? And he said there's these frivolous restrictions that I want to be more community based. I want obviously like my home to feel safe, and I want to make sure that other people can have the same protections of the union that I have. And it wasn't in those exact words, but we were agreeing on the most material conditions. He wanted a safe community. He wanted people to get paid better, because our neighborhood isn't very glitzy or glammy. We are a working class district. Yeah, exactly. So, and we don't need anything to be incredibly ritzy or fancy. We wouldn't want to, we were joking about if they had ever instituted an HOA, we'd move immediately.
Man, I'm telling you, HOAs, they special. I have one, but I'm not going to complain because my mortgage is, I got my condo in 2018. So I'm,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm good. I'm just going to just keep my mouth shut.
But it's been resonating really well because it's one thing to say like, hey, I'm here trying to work on the affordability crisis and being a working class, like fighting for working class values, and then being like, also I have the resume to show that I am a working class individual. So when I fight for you, it's also in a very selfish way. They can see I'm fighting for me too. Like the state level has failed me time and time again.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? I remember when I ran in 2016, I went to a union hall to give a speech because I was invited by the county surveyor at the time, Deb Jenkins. And she was like, come over here with me. Let's talk to these union folks. So I was like, okay, cool. And then I get over there and I'm like, and this was the same year that the State House was working to like, bust up a bunch of unions. It was right after right to work laws went into effect, which was really busting up unions. And I was in the parking lot and I saw all these dang Trump stickers, and I was like, how did we lose essentially the other backbone? We know black folks are one of the backbones, and so is the union and labor. How did we lose so much of our labor to Republicans who don't want them to unionize? I just couldn't understand. But like, you're right. NAFTA was a thing, and all these other it was a thing. I mean, So I got it, but now we got to win them back. And I think candidates like you are the type of candidates that can win them back because, I hope the guy reconsiders who he's voting for, and maybe he'll pull a lever for you because, golly, you care about what he cares about. But also, I hope that people are seeing that you don't, like I said, you don't have to have like special cape to run for office. Your cape just has to be that you care for your community. And I flat love that. Tell me, every campaign has roughly 3 issues that you care about most, either that you discovered during your door knocking, or it's something that you feel passionate about. What are the 3 issues that your campaign is working on and the messaging that you're putting out?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things is protection for workers and improving pay. Minimum wage of 2030 by 2030 is one of the big ones that we're harking on because it has the most like immediate effect for a lot of people, right? We can put in a lot of regulations.
So, are you interested at all in like I mentioned, right to work? Is there like any way that you think we could ever like do something with that stupid law?
Oh, repealing it would be one of the most effective things possible. It's such a falsely titled bill, right to work. Yeah, it's the right for the employers to work you over coals and then throw you in the dumpster when they're done with you.
Work for less, buddy.
Yeah. But definitely protection for working families, ensuring that employers are not only paying for like majority of healthcare costs, but requiring them to have the insurance that they provide be comprehensive, not to be just this plan that you pay $120 a week and you can get like one checkup a month, like, or one checkup a year, like something ridiculous like that. With that healthcare, people are actively being denied constantly from their benefits. And we have this system of insurance that is for profit, whether or not the label of the hospitals and the insurance companies match that, right? Because there's so many things that you can do with the nonprofit label that can kind of sideline legality. Like, you are still paying people exorbitant wages that is off of people being sick. And there's a lot that we need to break up and do there to change that actually has a healthcare system that is built for people and not for profit.
I like them. I like them.
And housing for all Hoosiers, blocking any private equity or any outside corporations from buying single family homes or like apartment rental complexes that aren't based here in Indiana, making sure that single family homes are protected from landlords who do not keep them up to livable conditions. I currently rent right now, and my garage foundation has been splitting as if it is erupting like Pompeii.
What?
And I have put in, maintenance tickets for it, and they said that it would be a like too comprehensive of a remodel. They'd have to tear the whole thing down. So I'm stuck with, do I want a garage where I can put a few tools with this entire foundation cracked, or do I have them tear it down? And they're not going to build a new one. It's not cost effective for them, right? So keeping those people in check where they have to follow up. It's their property, it's their responsibility.
Yeah. I mean, so you're saying the foundation, that means you can't park a car in there, right?
No, not at all. No,
So,
I don't think
wait a
we've
minute.
ever been able to park a car in there.
Yeah, well, see, one of the reasons why you probably rented this house was because it had a garage, so that you could, because Indiana winters ain't no joke, right?
No, they're not.
And it seems like if you're paying rent for a property that's advertised for a garage and you can't use it, something need to give. We need to find some people to help you out. I don't know who, but we don't, that because it don't seem right. You literally looked at this house and said, "Oh, it's got a garage," right?
Yeah.
And now you can't even use it, and they don't.
Well,
that's crazy.
Well, rest assured, I'm people that's going to help me out, because when we get down to the state house, we're going to force these people to actually take care of their houses. Like, even if you're in Indiana, you are a fellow Hoosier. You need to take care of your fellow Hoosier.
Yeah, but that's like a breach of contract. It's even like you signed a lease, and in that lease, there's stipulations for the renter and the landlord. And
I don't know if you've seen these leases lately. They are abysmal. So obviously it's breaking people down so much that they don't try to fight against these things, because they have such big lawyers and litigation fees that they can throw at you, right? But honestly, most of the time people are so desperate for housing. I will look at my lease, which I actually have to sign my new one for this upcoming year. I will look at my lease and I will see all of these, for lack of a better term, bullshit stipulations, like lawn maintenance and the water maintenance and the basement. I'm currently in my basement right now, and I'm lucky enough to have it pretty dry where I can have files and and a desk down here. But we constantly get flooding. There's cracks in the foundation in the basement, and the responsibility is that it's all on the tenant. And this is standard. I go through a property management company. This is standard practice, right? Tenants are getting screwed over time and time again. I had someone, my neighbor, they shoot the term. I don't know why. They got assistants to be in that housing, and they got screwed over time and time again because the stipulations of it's the landlord's responsibility. The foundation of the house, they didn't have a basement. The foundation of the house, just with where we're living, I think some of it's erosion. It was cracking, and they had to put rugs over cracks so it wasn't visible, and they it was open air from the crawl space.
What?
So these are the conditions that our communities are living in, and it's no wonder that people, but we're fighting each other just to get a house over our head. We have so many neighbors that don't have a roof, that they're sleeping in tents, they're sleeping in camping supplies. So
wow. And then our state house decides to pass a bill that criminalizes, your inability to have a home with a $500 fine and 60 days in jail. That's what we do. I'm listening.
Yeah.
You are blowing my mind right now. I knew when I got a divorce in 18 and I moved out of my ex-wife's house. And I knew when I moved out that I did not want to rent. Like, I just knew I didn't want to rent. But I was also working at the city. So I had to find a place that I could purchase that was within that kind of budget. And I got so lucky. So I'm sitting here listening to you tell me the story about how these people own these homes, they're collecting rent from you, and then want you to pay for the major maintenance repairs. I thought the whole point of renting is so you wouldn't have to take care of that stuff.
No, like in like the golden age of renting, like sure, but now that we have these conglomerates, these private equity firms, like buying and selling, it's really bad with mobile homes and trailer parks as well. Currently, like these people will like buy these lots and they keep people stuck in these like contracts there, and their houses are falling apart, and they just keep raising the lot rent up and up and up. And although it's called a mobile home, they don't move. They're not mobile. They're not mobile. So people get stuck and they're like, I bought this house and I'm just stuck on this lot of land I don't own. Like it's so evil. It's so predatory the way that they handle these things, and it's just for people to live. And me and my wife, we're very excited because like we have like a relatively good rate for rent, because there are people paying $1,200 a month for single bedroom apartments, like in certain complexes. Yeah. So we're like, hey, you know what? The basement's falling apart, but we have a good rate. And it's so sad that like that's our mentality, right?
Yeah, you have to sacrifice, living in a decent place for a decent rate. And it's like, it's almost like you're supposed to be able to pay more or get more, but whatever you pay, you should still have a decent place to live. I'm really pissed off right now. Like, you really kind of like... But these are the kind of discussions that we need to have that people may not be fully aware of. And I'm glad that you are running for office so that people can hear it's not happening just to you. It's how you said your community. So there are multiple people within the area that you are living in where they are not getting a fair shake from their renters. And that is terrible. And so we're going to get you elected to office. All right. Tell the people where they can find you, Blaine, because I want people to find you.
So the website is Blaine, BLAINE, forindiana.org. That's got all the socials on it. That's usually the tag everywhere. It's just Blaine for Indiana. That has all the donation link, the volunteer link, the sign up link. And if anybody like listens and resonates with anything that I've been saying, we are a campaign and a candidate that's not accepting any big PAC money. Not that they would offer it anyway.
Blaine, I gotta ask, because see, I hear you say that. Has any big PAC money been offered to you?
No. Okay. No, I don't think so.
I love that there are people who are saying I'm not taking big PAC money, but if you ain't been offered big PAC money, why did I say that? Like, I get it. Like, but if big, more than likely, when you literally have on your website, Democratic Socialist, ain't no big PAC money coming your way.
No. Right? Yeah, so, that is correct.
I get the sentiment, and I really, really do. I get it. I get the sentiment. But ain't nobody offered it to you, so don't worry about it. Like, you can leave that out. Like, just, you feel me?
No, that's valid. I think it just points to a criticism of certain Democratic candidates that even in our state, right, that take money from certain organizations. It's more just letting people know that I won't be bought out before I even get into the state house, is why a lot of candidates have been saying that. But nonetheless,
I'm gonna be honest, as a Democratic voter and someone who I'm not a socialist by any stretch of the imagination. I'm probably more progressive than most people give me credit for, but I'm a pragmatist at the same time. I just think when I hear that and you ain't been offered that money, it just sounds disingenuous. And I'm not the only one that feels that, right? And it's like, bro, like, trust me, I especially during the primary, I heard it, and I'm not hating on you, so please don't think that this is like a.
Oh no, you're good.
You're
a lot of
Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that, and it's like, yeah, but you ain't got but like $5,000, and you're running for Congress. That's not going to be enough money. What are you talking about over here? So I get it. And one thing that Congressman Carson said that I found incredibly impactful. And nobody can say that the Black Muslim representing Indianapolis is a sellout, but people try to. He said, when people offer me the money, I tell them where I stand. So even if you give me that money, right, you've decided to give me that money, I am still going to stand 10 toes down on what I believe. And that's what he said. Now, here's the thing. We got to win. Now, I'm not saying, like, there's some people I wouldn't take money. I wouldn't take money from the NRA, right? I just wouldn't take it. There's no amount of money the NRA could ever give me. But I just want us to think about, big PAC money could come from the ACLU. Is that a good place to get some money?
So when people are saying like corporate PAC, right, it's more of these like foreign national interests, big corporations. That's what they're insinuating. And maybe there is a bit of a messaging disconnect there when people are like, oh, like I'm not taking any big PAC money, because like the unions have PACs because
exactly.
the state doesn't allow unions to give money freely. They had to create PACs to get around a law trying to restrict union power.
Exactly.
So it's more of like APAC, big, like, like national or international, like interests, like Department of War money, like that sort of thing. People who are really connected. It's meant to posture and to present to people, which I do believe in still, that again, like when working class people look at a candidate and they see like a $10,000 donation from a PAC, unless it's like an incredibly reputable place like a union or like ACLU, it's immediately a red flag for a lot of people that I work with, at least.
Sure, and I've heard it, and I understand the red flag, but I also recognize, like, this is the pragmatist in me. The pragmatist says I would love to get big money out of politics, like, and I think me and you agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I wish we never had Citizens United. I wish that thing was gone because the corporate money pouring in, the dark money that's pouring in is awful. I recognize that, but that's not the world we live in, right? We live in a Citizens United world. So in order for us to actually change Citizens United or protect politics from big money, we actually have to win the election. And unless we have the ability to get our message out to our voters in a mass way, because not everybody's on social media, right? Everybody on social media, we have segmented how we consume information in such a way. You have to be incredibly diverse in how you get your message out to your constituents. And all of that takes money, right? All of that takes money. And I just want people, I feel what you're saying, and I love your conviction, because it's not that I disagree. I just feel like if you ain't being offered that money, but that's a whole nother story for another day.
No, that's incredibly valid, right?
Yeah,
it's like, but you're like, hey, I will not eat any raw snails. It's like,
exactly.
No one was saying you were, dude.
Exactly.
Like, I get it.
But you know what we are gonna say here today, Blaine, though? If you stand by and believe what Blaine is talking about, then click his donate link. Okay? Click his donate link right now, because small dollar donors have power. Become a $10 recurring donor to Blaine. Figure out how you can help his campaign. Because I'm me and this dude, I recognize right now, me and Blaine want the same things. We want the same outcomes. We want people to, like, he's just telling that rent story. We may have different tactics on how to get there, but I believe 100% that you and I want the exact same thing. So please, y'all, support this candidate. Give him an opportunity to represent us. He's working for the working class. That's what his website says, working for working class, because we need warriors like you, Blaine, in our state house. And I believe all voices, I want you to know, I really believe that all voices in our Democratic Party should have a place to share their ideas. I am not one to want to shut people down. If I wanted to shut people down, I wouldn't have podcasts.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying lately where it's just like, hey, you know what? Like, we might disagree on a couple of things. I've had that with a lot of new candidates who are also as green as I am to all of this. And I said, hey, I'm not going to do a purity test on you. I'm not here for leftist infighting. We can fight when we get into the state house together. Until then, we are friends trying to get a Republican out of the seat.
I want to hug you so badly right now. That's it, bro. That's it. That's it. That's all. We know that our ideas, like I said, I am going to agree with a Democrat maybe 70 to 75% of the time. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I consider that a coworker. I consider that a colleague who's going to help me get shit done. You know,
get things done, bro. I think you got it. I honestly think you got it. I think you got exactly what it takes to win this election. Thank you. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I didn't want to supersede nothing with the donation. Every single small dollar donation helps. But like me, like many people who are, working check to check, trying to make sure everything's covered. Honestly, right now, what we want more than anything is community buy-in, and that helps with volunteering. So if you're looking at those two links, volunteer or donate, I'd rather you click the volunteer one first. I want you to look at how you can get involved. We are constantly door knocking. We'll be having a schedule posted up on our website soon, so you can join us at any time that you're available. If you have an afternoon to come knock doors with us, spread the movement. Phone banking, coming down to the Allen County Democratic headquarters downtown. We'll have phones, we'll have laptops, so we can call as many people. It's about spreading the word and getting more people involved, which is just a cascading effect.
I love that.
But if you don't have that time, you don't have that energy, a small dollar donation helps. And even if you can't do that, just clicking share on a post, clicking like, and showing someone, hey, there's someone here representing us. And I think that's pretty damn cool.
You know what? That is one of the best closings I've had on this show in forever. I'm done. I'm not saying nothing else. Blaine Sefton for Senate District 14. Guys, find him, support him. I'm going to be real honest with you. He won me over. I'm done. He won me over because I feel like 110% I can back this guy and I can rock with this guy. Now, I know he said that he would rather you volunteer. I understand that sentiment because I wish I had a few more volunteers when I was knocking doors, but he's got to buy food and water for those volunteers. So please click his donate link and give him some money. His closing was dope. I'm not even going to mess with it. But guys, this is the reason why we do this show, so that you can meet these candidates. They didn't show up on somebody's favorite list, right? They're not. But these are the candidates who are running for office, and you have an opportunity to step up and help them win these elections. It's not a spectator sport. You got to get involved. Roll your sleeves up. And Blaine even made a call out. Help him with his door knocking, help him with his phone banking. Y'all, let's elect this man. Let's make some changes in the State House, and it starts with you. That's right, you. It starts with you. All right, Indiana's own Dana Black, turn left. I will holler at you next time. Peace. Turn Left is the property of Black Pearl IT Solutions, executive producer, Indiana's own Dana Black. Music by Dorian and 22 from Pixabay.